Hey guys, got another Q&A video for you. First question, was there ever anything else you wanted to do in your life other than being a youth pastor? Not really. I thought maybe I'd be a janitor or mailman or bus driver or something, but it wasn't until I became a Christian that I realized I had this calling to ministry and to teenagers specifically. So I really haven't wanted to do anything. It was more like, well, I gotta work, so find something that I might enjoy. I actually really like being a janitor, so if this didn't work out, I probably would have done that. What Christian books do you recommend for teenagers? There's lots of really good books. I think all teenagers should be reading. I think if I could go back, I regret not reading more as a teenager. I learned that later in life to read a lot and the benefits of that. Christian books I recommend are Blue Like Jazz by Donald Miller. I think that's a great book for teenagers to read. It's basically just his faith story, and I think it's really accessible for teenage years, and I think it's a really good story, and yeah, it's very impactful. I still read it to this day. Also really like Prodigal God by Timothy Keller. Despite him being academic, I think it's a very accessible book. He's extremely pastoral. I think it's definitely on a teenager's level. It's about the parable of the two sons in Luke, and he does a really good job of helping us in our cultural context explain this very, very foreign context, and he does a really good job. It's a really good book. I've done it with teenagers in the past, and it's worked really well. But yeah, read all the time. Read your Bibles, especially. Last question, can women be pastors? Well, they can and they are. There's lots of women pastors in the world, in this country. I think the better question would be, is it biblical for women to be pastors? So there's basically two opinions on this, which I think are both supported scripturally, and like their arguments are good, and that's kind of the case with most things in the Bible, where there's kind of two sides. So there's egalitarian, which says that men and women share equality in leadership roles in the home and the church. And the complementarian view, which has two kind of separate, if you're a 2-point complementarian is what they call it, then you say that men hold leadership roles within the home as well as the church, that those roles are exclusively for men. And then you have 1-point complementarians, which would say that men reserve the role of leadership in the home but not in the church. And Faith Church holds to a complementarian view where leadership within the church and the home is exclusive to men, and that there's complementary roles that men and women have within both of those institutions. But we also acknowledge that women have extremely valuable spiritual gifts that they can use in the church to spread God's kingdom. Preaching being one of them. I think that women have the gift of preaching too. It's just the role of leadership is where that distinction comes into play. All right, thanks guys.